terminal here on the island of Flutter. The island of Flutter is Norse for Flat Island. The island of Flutter is leased from the Orkney Islands Council to a firm called Talisman. Now, it was maybe back in the 1970s that the oil first started to arrive into the island of Flutter. There's actually 9 oil tanks on the oil terminal, and the oil is piped in from the North Sea by about a 100-mile pipeline. If you look over to your left-hand side now, you can see a flame in the distance there. That is the island of Flutter. That is the Flutter flame, or the Flutter flare it's called, which burns off the excess gas there on your left-hand side there. It's Scarborough flow is actually quite quiet today. We used to see some oil tankers in the flow here. You do see one, the red and white one, way over at the far end there. The red and white tanker is a shutter tanker which takes oil from the North Fields, Northern Shetland, oil fields Northern Shetland down here into Scarborough flow to be loaded up. Most of the tankers here are taken into the oil terminal to be loaded up, but they're also going to do ship loading in the flow there. Now Occidental, they were the first ones.
Bigger, so then they needed more room, so they had to build a bigger byre along the front, and then they turned this byre into an extra living area, and there was a shop and a display room. When they stopped using that for the pigs, they put a big stone across the top, and that's called the bank, and that's where they made their butter and cheese. Come right in, Bob, don't stand in the door, you'll easy get in, you'll be a rubber in the back. Don't stand out in the rain. You're a big group, so just make the best of it. I'm just going to talk a wee bit here and a wee bit in the house and see what I can do. This is the quern stones for grinding the grain. You put the dried grain in the centre here and then you turn the handle like this. Normally when I turn that, you'll not come in today, but I have 2 North runs of sheep here. I don't know if you've heard about them or no.
Yes, well.
Have you? Well, for the benefit of the people that's not heard about, come right in, folks, just push, push, push. There's plenty of room in other rooms. See,
can drive a Tuggers, you have done me.
Forget your manners when you're here, just push in, push in. Yes, I've two North Roncy sheep that came from North Roncy. They came down from North Roncy when they were just 1 day old. And we fed them with baby spoils and they're quite pets now, you see. And normally when I turn this handle, they come running in here, but they've no much chance today, no. And that's the ones that live on the seaweed. North Roncy's the fattest North Island. And up there, there's about a couple of thousand of them still. And there's a big high dike built right round the island. That's to keep the sheep out. There's no to keep them in. And they live on the seaweed round the shore. So I have two of them here. You'll probably see them outside in a minute's time. Sometimes I train them to go up on the roof of the barn and eat the grass up on the roof. They eat grass as well as seaweed, you see. So you'll maybe see one up on the roof in a minute. Yeah, this is the room we call the out by. The next room is called the in by. That's the main living area. And I'll maybe get you to come in there in a minute's time when we swap over a wee bit. Somebody was asking, you said, was asking about the black oats. Well, this is why I wear my silly hat, is to explain the different types of grain. The one grain is in here is called bear. That is a very primitive barley, mainly just growing in Orkney. They actually found traces of this grain in Scarabray long ago. And the main reason for growing that grain in this times was for making the malt, for making their homebrewed ale. Because if you go back in times like this, you're going back over 100 years, tea was that scarce and expensive, some of them never saw tea, but they actually kept tea under lock and key, and they used their homebrewed ale instead of tea. So they made malt from the bear. And they also dried the same grain for grinding in the quernstones for making the bread, the bear bannocks. The other grain is the black oats. It's not much sample out here, no, it's blown off my head that much, it's gotten threshed, but this is it here. It's a very suitable stray for making the stray back chairs. It's a very soft, pliable type stray and is awful fine for making chairs with that. And the grain in the centre of this, once you take the chaff off it, it's fairly black. It's like grass seed. This went far near now. So that's the black oats. I don't care if you're staying for lunch or not, but if I leg of pork here salting in the top here, I don't think you'll do great salt pork. See the young ones, there's quite a few young ones in here, I say. They don't like when they see this nowadays. I get some dirty looks when I pick us up in the tub, I can tell you. I should say that's a fella didn't behave himself here one day. That's what we were brought up. I can mind when the pig was killed, it was a big day. You were talking about that, I think. Yeah, it was a big job getting the hot water and things ready for we didn't have electricity and things like that. And you see the pig was almost a pet and nobody liked the job of killing it, but it had to be done. And I think there's young ones here, I'm not saying too much with the pig killing, but it was a kind of gory story this, again, with catching the blood for bloody puddings and all that sort. Because the pity ones, I'll not go into that one. I'll bypass that one, pity that. This is the plug can for making the butter. I know, I'll just pour in amongst you, you just sit where you are, you're fine. There's a thing here I'm going to ask anybody in here, see if they can what it's for. Anybody any idea what that's for? If I tell you it's going down a pretty bit today, you maybe guess. Aye, it's a homemade barometer. All it is water in a jar, one empty bottle turned upside down in the top. And see, the higher the water goes up the inside the neck of the bottle, the better the weather. It's actually been doing, I would say, about 1/8 an inch for yesterday. See, the water's up to there, look. That's how the old people told the weather. We used to do this at school when we were your age. And we had barometers then, thought it enough, but the teacher held us doing it. And you used to put ink in the water to colour it so you could see it more clearly for the distance. So an awful lot of folk now getting in to see here, I don't know what to do with you, you're a big group. I wonder if I just leave you to browse about a bit and you ask me questions, rather me tell you, so everybody can see better. If I let you sort of go through into the next room, a lot of you, and I'll just mingle in among you. Because there's a lot of folk actually walking outside the door, there's no seeing here.
Right, as I said outside, this place was built about 5,000 years ago, somewhere around 3000 BC. That makes it 1,000 years before Stonehenge. And it's over 2,500 years before the Parthenon in Athens was designed. It was built by farmers and fishermen from the local area, from places like Skara Brae, which have since disappeared. There were also Stone Age people. You can actually see the marks, the dents that their hammers made on the walls 5,000 years ago. Now, it's relatively easy to split that stone long ways, but to dress corners like that, using the tools they had, and fitting stones like that, just having stone hammers, if they're lucky, chisels made out of walrus tusks, would be something. It's original up to there, apart from the cement, of course. The white roof is Victorian, so just ignore that. Built of Orkney sandstone. That comes from the west side of the island towards the Atlantic. 5,000 years ago, the nearest place to get it was about 7 miles away, and they think they've identified the quarry as up near Skara Brae. So they had to get the stone from there to here. It was a bit warmer then though, and there were trees, so they could perhaps have rolled the stones on logs. Maybe when they got closer, they could even have made rafts and floated the stones. But you still had to get them into position, and that was the big problem. As you can see, some of the stones are quite big. For instance, these side chambers, they're L-shaped. That one on the far side goes to the left, the other two turn to the right. They don't connect in any way, but they are roughly the same size inside. This is the depth of this one. Okay? And it goes down round the corner there, down to about level with that wall. The point I'm making from that is that reddish stone there is one single slab that supplies the whole roof for that side chamber. And the same thing on the other two sides. Each of the side chambers is covered by one slab of stone. If you look low down between the stones, you'll see what look like thin inserts of other smaller stones. In many cases, they're individual stones just packed very tightly, like that one there. That's them when they break up. They call them pinners. Their function is to make sure that the stones stay level all the way up. And the reason for that is they don't put a roof on this place as such. What they do is they go up so far, and then they bring the walls gradually in on all four sides. They call that process corbelling. Eventually, you'd end up with a small enough hole to put a capping stone on it. Seal it with clay to make it watertight. Now it would be kind of like a cone but with four sides. And it would obviously be more gradual than the white roof, so it would be taller. If you look at the stones up there, although they're broken up, they are horizontal. If they continued that way, you can imagine just how precise it would have been all the way to the top. The top layer, for instance there, is equal all the way around.
If you put a spirit level on that, how level do they
I don't know, but I would think they probably had a very good eye for that kind of thing, better than ours.
What do you know what kind of toes they would have had? Would they have had a square and a level? Or
No idea. Probably I would think they would do it by eye.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 18th century, for instance, people could quote great lumps of the Bible simply because they didn't have books available to them, so they learned them off the heart. I think they could use their eyes far better than we can, simply because they had to.
They probably would have had a plumb line.
I don't know about that. I really don't know what kind of tools they would have had.
It's unbelievable.
Round about the 21st or 22nd of December, which is the period of the winter solstice, they close the lights off in this place and they end up with a fight outside about who's going to come in because everybody wants to see. What they do is they video the sun coming in on the shortest day and as it goes down on the shortest day. They video it and it goes onto the web, and if you ask at the shop, somebody will give you the number and you can actually look at it for yourself.
And it actually comes right in through this passage,
Yeah.
and that lights up the chamber.
Yeah, they do it for 15 to 20 days on either side because, of course, in Orkney you can't guarantee the sun on any one day. I mean, you can't always even see Howe, never mind any sun going down behind it. So you need to cover your bets a wee bit. You can probably work out whether the thing's shrunken anyway.
Alright.
If I start to get a flat head, then we'll know it is shrunk. So that's the snake there. There's its head.
If somebody is
The coils
carved,
go up and round and go there.
Yeah, that's the
Then
base
you've
one
got
of
massive
the
coils
best.
there.
but it's the same
That's
process
the
carved in
Orkney
St Magnus's Cathedral. But look at the round ends on it.
So that's the main one, that's the dragon and lion. Very detailed. Okay. Anyone not seen these? Everybody's seen everything? Different ways. That one rises, that one down there goes down. I can't remember what this one does. I don't know if it means anything. I don't know if it's got any meaning at all.
This little cross here, is that a cross or a mason's mark? Here?
No, they're crossed.
Right.
I mean, there is a story about the Vikings breaking in here in 1153, 6th of January 1153.
Right.
And according to the Orkney Islands saga, 2 of the men went nuts because they were in here for 3 days during a storm. That's one story. 2 of the men went nuts and they carved Christian crosses on the wall. That might just be them.
If you look at the ends of them, you'll see they're slightly enlarged, slightly rounded, right on the 3 points. There's a mason's mark on 2 of the main pillars in St Magnus's Cathedral. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, St Magnus Cathedral was being built at the same time. As far as I'm aware, they weren't in here.
Right.
As far as I'm aware. But I mean, that's could be, but they said they made Christian crosses on the wall. And I mean, if they are the ones made by that group, that came out in 1153, then you've got the exact date, 6th, 7th or 8th of January 1153.